sounds like it. It does. I think they're going to rethink their agreements. But, Blackwater's got that big base down in San Diego, too, and they've probably got them scattered all over the country where they train mercenaries or contract workers.
We only talk about Blackwater. We only talk about, in this case, American Police Force, which is a very new company and not a very good one from what I can tell. Don't really talk about Kroll. I've talked about them on my program, directly responsible to 9/11. They are a security force for Wall Street, connected directly to AIG and other nefarious companies with people with connections to 9/11. We've talked about DynCorp in the past, how they've gone around to the murders and the rapes that have occurred at their hands with their private military force. We know, Boeing has a police. Carlisle Group has their own security force. Raytheon, the list is just endless. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these security companies out there built into this new security industrial complex.
You're absolutely correct. If the general public only knew, or if you and I even knew a fraction of what was out there, it's scary. This idea that this is going to be, sheriffs and martial law, it's probably going to be the private contractors that are earning a paycheck and they're just saying, following orders, just doing my job, sorry, because that's all I heard Thursday. Like, we're really sorry, John, but we're just following orders.
Yeah, well, we know what happens there, and we can go back to Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And that's why groups like Oath Keepers are so important. I guess this is the response to Oath Keepers, the American Police Force. But we really can't hold our city council, our elected officials responsible for this. And they're now feeling the heat in Montana. And as was pointed out many, many times, and as I think your station was a great example of, Montanans are very hardy individuals, and they don't like this kind of thing, even though American Police Force wasn't allegedly doing any policing. They were just running the detention facility up there. It looks like they're not even going to be able to do that now. So this is really, if this goes the way I think it's going to go, this is going to be a big victory for liberty.
Yeah, it will, but, at some point that building's going to be used for some purpose, and it's sad that a town decides to generate revenue off the hardship of others.
Well, I know, and that's because the justice system is broken, as we know, John. There are some people that do need to be taken off the streets, so I'm not going to be for total anarchy ever on this program, and I don't like being jumped by violent criminals, which has happened to me many times. Some people just need that they need to be taken out of society and hopefully rehabilitated, but so we're never going to get rid of jails, though.
Well, look at
the privatization of jails. When we look at what Wackenhut has done, and these companies, I guess they're called Geo Incorporated now, and the nonviolent criminals and marijuana smokers and whatnot that are in jail, it is preposterous. And I guess if you need more jail space, why don't you just let these people go?
Well, look, you just talked about Elaine Brown. They just got 35 years this morning. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely horrible. That was a travesty of justice. And these people, what did they do, John? They didn't pay their taxes? To what? So they can go to AIG and go to Wall Street? Yeah, that's an issue in my case, too. There is such a thing in this country as being a conscientious objector, no? Well, I tried that during Vietnam. It didn't work for you in Vietnam. You still with us, John? I think we just lost him, and my computer crashed at least once during this interview. Earlier today, I was on KLBJ AM, the big talk station here, and all my electricity went out. Well, I called back, and guess what? They used my comment as a soundbite. I heard it during the Lush Limbaugh show today. Something like, Lance doesn't have a clue. Lance Armstrong is here shilling for Obamacare in Austin, Texas. And this is what people are worried about in my town. It's Austin city limits. Oh, boy, everybody's down, partying and getting drunk. There's so much going on. Let's get John back on the air if we can. I want to talk more about this. Montana Attorney General Steve Bullock launched an investigation yesterday into the American Police Force, the California company founded by a Serbian immigrant with a lengthy criminal history.
John's back.
Is seeking to run an empty 464-bed jail in Hardin. Bullock sent a 9-page demand letter Thursday afternoon to Becky Shea. You heard her on the program the other day. Shea did not immediately respond to phone call. Now she doesn't want to talk. According to the document, Bullock is launching a civil investigation into APF over concerns that the company might be violating the Montana Unfair Trade Practices and Consumer Protection Act. Among other things, Bullock demands that the company provide proof for many of the statements about the company included on AFP's rinky-dink website. The site says that the company frequently has contracts with U.S. government and has operations in all 50 states. This is how this all these rumors came out because of the scam being perpetuated by this CEO, if he is that, Michael Hilton, which isn't actually his real name. Research into the company has turned up no record of American police force contracting with the federal government. Bullock has requested the company provide proof of its federal... This is fraud! John Stokes is back with us. I mean, these guys might actually go to the jail that they were supposed to be controlling.
Well, if you don't want to draw attention to yourself in Montana, don't drive around a black Suburban or Mercedes.
Yeah, especially if it's not an American car. Smoked windows and fake police decals on it.
Yeah, you want to blend in, get an old pickup truck and a dog.
Well, it just shows that, and she was on this show going, well, if there's going to be a problem, I guarantee you the Montana people will stand up. I guess they didn't know how true that statement was.
Oh, they'll drive 12, 14 hours to go help somebody.
This Hilton guy's a real piece of work. A lot of our, I don't call them competitors, a lot of our colleagues in the alternative media started churning out stories that this was Blackwater, a front company for Black. But what they were doing was they were pretending to be part of Blackwater in order to get these contracts. The whole thing is apparently, allegedly, John, the whole thing is a giant scam.
Well, he's been known to do that before, and and some of these people in city councils aren't the brightest star in the sky. So, they probably would have got a big retainer up front and disappeared.
Max Baucus, Max Dionysus, he's on the case.
I don't know.
He's keeping an eye on the situation. John Tester, he's also a Democrat. He says he's got a lot of questions. They have a lot of explaining to do up there.
Well, they got a lot of explaining to do what they're doing with all the money they're wasting, too.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for...
Go ahead. But this deal's not done. See, that's another lie, is that they said the deal was done. The U.S. Bank is the trustee for the bonds sold to build this jail. They said they never signed off on this.
Yeah. And what are they going to do with the jail if they foreclose on it or get it?
Man, I tell you, John, I guess you could say this is a great time for us to be in talk radio because there's just so much to talk about, and there's our opinions come so easily in the face of all of these lies and all of this hypocrisy. Yeah,
and not too much of it shocks you. Some people, in my opinion, really overreacted yesterday. There's a building there. Everybody in Montana's known about it for years. It's been in the news. It was a pork barrel project, and but it's like I said, a lot of people overreacted at first, and we'll take care of it. You're not going to get very far with 15 guys in Montana. Even in a rural town of 3,500, you better bring 7,000.
Yeah, exactly. I thought your first comment to me on this was 15 guys with guns. Don't they know it's hunting season? That's kind of a remake or a sequel of big-time dictator Cheney's Most Dangerous Game, but this time they're the ones that are the animals.
Yeah. Well, notice Dick Cheney doesn't bird hunt up here.
Yeah, how does he get away with that even in Wyoming? I don't know. But, and that's the thing, and that's what I love about Texas, too, is that it takes a lot to get people riled up sometimes, but once they do, man, they just stick. There's no way to stop them. You lose. Game over.
Yep. Yeah, I remember one of the famous generals, I think from Switzerland, was worried about the Nazis, or the Nazi general was talking to him and said, why aren't you worried about 10,000 people on your border coming in here? And because you only, or 20,000, because you only have 10,000 in your army. So what are you going to do? Just shoot twice and go home.
Yeah, they better start drugging the water a little better. It's not working. Oh, that's right. People are all filtering their water now. John Stokes is with us. We'll come back right after this. Ron Paul warns of a dollar crash, violence, de facto state secessions right after this. Stay with us, Deadline Live.